From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for getting your day started with us. And good morning to Miller over in the Weather Center on this Wednesday midweek. What do we have going on?
Well, we do have more rain in the forecast. Maybe not so much for Billings today, but if you're in the eastern part of the state, of Miles City, Glendive, you're aching for some rain. Very dry in those areas. A better shot you could see some rain today, and I'll explain why here in just a second. Great shot of Billings, courtesy of the Stockman Bank weather cam. You can see some clouds there in the background. 39 right now at the airport. It feels like 30. Humidity holding steady at 82%. The dew point's at 34. Winds out of the southwest at about 16 miles an hour. Love to crunch numbers. Yesterday our high got up to 60, about 5 degrees below average. We are colder than normal as well. We're going to try to get back to seasonal moving forward over the course of the next few days. No measurable precipitation yesterday. Now we're pacing ahead for the month, but for the year we're behind, so we could use some rainfall, especially again on the eastern side of our viewing area. Right now we're seeing some clouds out there, just some temperatures to mention. Big Timber at 37 down in Gardner, where we're clear at 32, Clark at 35, Hardin at 37. We've got clouds in Forsyth at about 44 with your temperatures right now. You can notice again the better chance we'll see some rain off on the eastern part of our viewing area. Otherwise, you're just going to see some clouds out there mixing in with the sunshine. Highs today getting into the 60s. We'll go with a high of 65 today here in Billings, pretty much where we should be. Starting off in the 30s and 40s, we'll be in the 50s by lunchtime and then to the 60s as we get into the afternoon. Very slight chance we'll see some rain today here in Yellowstone County. It's Limerick Day.
Have you come across any interesting ones to
You
share?
know what? I had a wonderful viewer send one in. You mind if I share it?
Go for it.
Jessica. Now, Jessica, this is a fantastic limerick, but I am horrible at reading poetry, so I'm probably not going to get the rhythm down real good, but let me just give it a shot. Here we go. It says, wake up to Miller and Q2, weather news and more, smiles, humor, and jokes, the day ahead for you. They say what we are in for. Thanks for informing us, folks.
Nice.
Not bad. Yeah, it's a great poem. I just destroyed it with the way I read it. So, Jessica, thank you so much for sending that in. Do you have any limericks? Any favorite limericks?
I'm not very good at coming up with them on the spot, but I'm sure if I sat down and put my mind to it, I could. But
You told me you have a poem there at your desk that you wrote about our master control operator or director.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
I'm gonna go check it out after.
Yeah, you need to go look at my desk.
You got me all wondering now.
It's pretty good. It's one of my favorites. That's why it's posted on my desk. It's very true. All right. People are wondering. I'll get on to the news. I'm all right at reading that. Thanks, Biller. Our top story this morning, House Republicans are set to vote today whether Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney will remain as the number 3 GOP member in the House. CBS's Laura Podesta explains why many of her colleagues want her platform to be given to someone else.
Liz Cheney.
Congresswoman Liz Cheney's persistent, vocal opposition of former President Donald Trump could very well result in her losing her spot as the House Republican Conference chair today.
We face a threat America has never seen before. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election.
Yesterday, in a last bid to convince her Republican colleagues not to oust her in a vote this morning, Cheney said she cannot stand by and watch Mr. Trump continue to spread falsehoods.
Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy has made it clear the only way he thinks the GOP can win a House majority in the next election is if they stand unified. He circulated this letter telling members it's clear that we need to make a change. The vote today needs a simple majority of the 213 Republicans in the conference to remove Cheney from her post. However, a handful are supporting her.
What she is being removed for is making it uncomfortable and being consistent. And God bless her for having the consistency to tell the truth.
New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is the only candidate named so far to replace Cheney as conference chair. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
The vote to remove Cheney is expected to happen by secret ballot this morning at the closed-door Republican Party conference meeting. She survived a similar vote in February, but this time there's more support in the party for her removal. There will be a candidate forum for potential replacements tomorrow with an election on Friday. Many Republicans believe it may be time to break up the party. A group of more than 100 powerful GOP members plan to release a statement tomorrow that calls for reforms and threatens to create its own party if changes do not happen. Some of the people behind this effort include former Secretary of Homeland Security Tom Ridge, former Transportation Secretary Mary Peters, and Evan McMullin, a former CIA agent who ran as an independent in the 2016 presidential election. Voting rights legislation is moving on to a full Senate vote, but its fate remains unclear. Senators in the Rules Committee debated the For the People Act before a party line vote ended with a tie. Senate rules allow the majority leader to bring the bill to a full floor vote. 10 Republican senators need to support the bill for it to pass if all Democrats vote for it. At least one Democrat has not yet committed to support it. In court news, a former Lockwood School Board trustee pleads not guilty to committing sex crimes against a child. 61-year-old Joseph Borgstrom is charged with felony counts of rape and sexual assault. Court documents say a 12-year-old girl told doctors about the crimes during a checkup. Borgstrom initially admitted to both counts in an interview with law enforcement. The judge set bail at $100,000 and ordered Borgstrom to wear a GPS monitor and have no contact with the victim. If convicted, Borgstrom could face up to 100 years behind bars. After a turbulent 2020, Billings Logan International Airport is soaring into the future. Passenger numbers are way up, reaching 77% of the record 2019 travel year. Meanwhile, a massive construction project to expand a terminal is moving along. The new A concourse is expected to be finished in 2023. Airport officials say all of this is good news as peak travel season approaches.
So I mean, we're way further up along the lines than you're going to see around the rest of the country. Bozeman is already way past all that. So people are already coming to the state and traveling. We got people leaving. I mean, we're seeing a lot more activity right now already.
Sloan says Billings air travel picks up after the end of the school year and peaks in July or August. Drivers in the southeast are taking no chances running out of fuel while the Colonial Pipeline shutdown continues. More than 1,000 gas stations in southeastern states are out of fuel as drivers rush to fill their tanks. The federal government is considering options to make sure there's enough supply. Some of those options include using railroads to deliver gas inland and possibly relaxing some fuel quality requirements. The pipeline is expected to return to normal operations by the end of the week. Today, President Joe Biden will hold the highest level talk so far regarding his infrastructure proposals. Senate and House leadership will gather at the White House to see if there are areas for compromise on the proposals. The president has said he is willing to compromise on the corporate tax rate he wants to use to help pay for the bill. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell believes the overall cost of the bill should be less than half of what the president wants. He also opposes the corporate tax. A federal judge has dismissed the NRA's bankruptcy case. The ruling said the group's petition was not filed in good faith. He said it was an attempt to avoid a civil lawsuit brought by the New York Attorney General. The decision means the NRA will not have bankruptcy protections, which it says are needed to protect against the barrage of litigation they're facing. Northwestern Energy is about to take on a major project and replace every electric meter in the entire state. It's been 20 years since Northwestern Energy updated the nearly 600,000 meters in Montana. Company officials say the new version will offer improved readings. On top of that, new technology will make it easier for the company to control the meters.
You know, we before and right now we have to have one of our servicemen go out and do that turn on or turn off. With this, we'll be able to do it right from our back office. So the speed of that is going to be very convenient for our customers.
It will take just 15 minutes to replace one meter and requires a brief power outage. The entire project is expected to take 3 years to complete. In Wyoming, Governor Mark Gordon has announced an end to some pandemic-related unemployment benefits. Unemployment checks will no longer have the extra $300 from the federal government, and the length of regular unemployment benefits will return to 26 weeks. This has already been done in Montana and several other states as the nation faces shortages in the workforce. Wyoming will stop the payments on June 19th. The CEO of the Rimrock Foundation will speak before Congress today. Lynette Kalsovich will address the Senate Committee on Finance and Subcommittee on Healthcare about the lasting mental health impacts from the pandemic on the community. Her testimony will focus on people living in Billings in the entire region. She says experts around the world predicted there would be a tsunami of mental health and addiction treatment after the pandemic, and that's now playing out.
And the one thing that we know is the long-term effect of a catastrophe like COVID. The mental effects will be far longer lasting than any physical effects. There's secondary trauma from it. I think we've all even had secondary trauma from COVID, just watching what's happened to our community or loved ones or people we know. I would love to tell Congress that if the funding isn't there, the problem's going to get worse. And it sounds like a threat or fear-based, but we've just seen what has happened over the last 6-8 months in our own community, just devastating crimes happening that we know are fueled by drugs.
Kalsovich hopes to influence a potential solution. She says certified community behavioral health clinics are designed to provide a comprehensive range of mental health and substance use disorder services that treat every aspect of a person's life. The Rimrock Foundation has been a trailblazer with those services in our region.